This is Salesforce Simplified, the podcast from Victoriam Solutions. Here's your host, Mike Boyle.
Welcome, everyone. I am really excited for all of us today to meet Phil Everhart. He is the president and founder of SmartFox Technologies. And we'll be speaking with Phil today about how companies can better accurately forecast sales in their CRMs using AI, artificial intelligence. First, a little bit about Phil. With 20 plus years of experience using controlled artificial intelligence to help company leaders fix inaccurate sales forecasting and poor opportunity management in CRM systems, Phil has partnered with Salesforce to build SmartFox Prime, which is the first ever business forecast management system. The use of AI in business is projected to grow by triple digits in the next few years, and Phil is known as the subject matter expert on that topic, and we are thrilled to have him as our guest today. Hello, Phil. Thanks for joining us today.
Hello, Mike. Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. We have like three sections, if you will, to our discussion today. We're going to talk a little bit first about AI. We'll roll into accurate sales forecasting. And then I want to get into what you're doing there at SmartFox Prime Technology. Sound like a plan?
Yes, sir. Sounds great.
There we go. Great. Let's start with AI. Why do those words, artificial intelligence, AI for short, why do they scare people?
Well, Mike, I think there are three big fear factors which scare people. And the first one is AI scares people because it can produce biased outcomes depending on the accuracy and quality of that data, right? And then humans, the second one, humans are also, they don't like data that tells them that they are wrong. So that's a big if factor for humans and why they're scared. And the last thing I think is that AI also has the ability to make humans make decisions they don't want to make. And that just causes irrational outcomes.
Why do you think that AI is so important to a company's future? Especially, how they market their products.
Well, AI is now one of the biggest topics in the business world. I talk to people all the time about it, especially due to the effects of COVID and the new digital world of buying that we live in. So just some research, based on some research that I've performed, Salesforce, which you acknowledge is one of the largest CRM providers in the world, they predict that the growth of AI is just going to explode over the next 3 years to 139% adoption rate. So that's a huge statistic that's thrown out there. So I think AI allows companies to implement marketing techniques that will allow companies to nudge people to buying their product and behave a certain way. The whole behavioral science of nudging helps companies change people's behavior, and it has a positive effect due to the surge of the digital world that we live in.
You use the word nudge there. How can AI be used to nudge sales teams to success?
Yeah, so the technique of nudging is not only for sales teams, but it also can attract customers. But the best way to implement it and to help salespeople make good decisions. The way to do this is by providing them, an AI tool that it's very easy to use, is timely, and it actually provides motivation, like incentives to do the work. The key to all of this is having controlled artificial intelligence. That's something we have in our system. We call that CAI, to ensure that the leadership team is providing the right nudges to produce the accurate outcomes the company desires.
Let's move into accurate sales forecasting, which I know is near and dear to your heart.
Yes.
For those who may not know, let's start here. Why is sales forecasting and doing it correctly so important to a company's bottom line?
Well, accurately forecasting sales is truly the lifeline to success for every business. And the reason why we know that is that Wall Street says that it's their number one indicator if a business is going to be successful. And what I mean by that is it's what helps companies plan to pay their employees in the future, cover operating expenses, buy more inventory, market new products, and even attract new investors. And that's why it's so important to have a good sales forecasting model.
I often hear, and I'm sure you do on a daily basis. The Salesforce casts are always wrong. Why is that?
Primarily, it's because they are subjective. And let me explain kind of the facts behind that. In 2019, a study from a notable company called Inside Sales Labs was performed on 270 plus thousand closed-won opportunities in the CRM systems, making up 18.1 billion in closed sales revenue from many companies involved in this study. And what they found out is that sales forecasts were wrong 72% of the time outside of 90 days of closure and 47% of the time within 90 days of closure. Because of this problem, investors and top executives just have no confidence in most sales forecasts. And the reason why these stats are so bad and sales forecasts are typically wrong is sales reps enter subjective forecasts in their CRM system, meaning guesses, based on their own emotion rather than objective data points like accomplishments and milestones. And humans just naturally do this by design while making decisions, which by the numbers and stats I just gave you prove that there's such a big problem with inaccuracy of sales forecasts.
You have a methodology that you like to talk about. It's structure plus accountability plus accuracy equals results. Can you explain that methodology?
Yes, sir. As a part of our overall mission at SmartFox Technologies, we've implemented these three rules, which are the foundation of SmartFox Prime's business forecast management system we built with Salesforce. And this structure, as you said, accountability and accuracy equals results. So let me explain that. First, you have to have the right structure. And what that means is the right processes in place, expectations, and having a good CRM system is one of the most important technology investments a company can make to ensure they have the right structure for growth and success. The next, you have to have the right leaders who hold people accountable to following the right structure. And finally, to end this, if employees agree that they have the right structure, and then people can be held accountable because they've agreed upon it, the accuracy of their accountability brings good results. And so that's kind of the foundation of what SmartFox Prime is built on. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Well, let's get into SmartFox Prime technology here. Until now, Salesforce and other CRMs didn't have a tool that helped business leaders determine a forecast model that guarantees accuracy. So talk about your SmartFox Prime technology and how you came up with it.
Sure. Salesforce and other CRMs just don't have a tool, like you said, that helps business leaders determine a forecast model that guarantees accuracy. And the reason is Salesforce stays away from being responsible for predicting outcomes for company sales. They don't want that responsibility. And most sales leaders are then forced to use like Microsoft Excel or similar spreadsheets to help them objectively weigh their sales team's subjective predictions. So to fix this problem, SmartFox Technologies partnered with Salesforce to build SmartFox Prime and the first ever business forecast management system. So SmartFox Prime's technology basically uses a controlled artificial intelligence to help CRM users across the world save millions by fixing inaccurate sales forecasts while eliminating poor opportunity management. And what this tool does is SmartFox Prime is basically an easy-to-use Salesforce add-on for sales teams that helps guide a sales rep through milestones in each stage of a sales cycle, using objective performance rather than subjective guessing to predict accurate sales forecasts, probabilities, and closing dates. The AI outcome is that SmartFox Prime continues to fix forecast accuracy problems and save companies millions and missed forecast revenue, because once we get the results, we know how to fix them on the front end as an admin to ensure we continue to drive performance. So that's kind of why the product was made and what the product does.
If there are folks out there who are interested in SmartFox Prime and getting a demo, they just would have to go to your website, right?
That's right. We provide two options. Salesforce customers can download 5 free trial licenses of our SmartFox Prime for free. No obligations. It's done directly from their Salesforce App Exchange. That's like their Apple shopping cart environment for Salesforce. It's easy to install within the their Salesforce org, and usually we recommend them doing it in a test development environment first to try it. But also they have the option of reaching out to us because we have the ability to create demo orgs, which are just already pre-configured environments that they can play with for a period of 30 days, so they don't have to install it in their own Salesforce if they just want to do that to start off with.
And of course, we would send folks right to your website to do that. That's smartfoxtechnologies.com, right?
Yes, sir.
And people can also contact you via the website directly as well. Phil, thank you for giving us such a clear picture of how accurate sales forecasting and AI go hand in hand these days, and telling us all about SmartFox Prime. It was a pleasure to have you on the podcast today.
Thank you, Mike. It was nice to be here.
If this is the first time you happen to be listening to our podcast and you like what you heard, make sure you follow us. We're on all of the podcast channels. Doesn't matter. You'll find us everywhere. And additionally, if you happen to be a podcaster who is looking for guests who can talk about all things Salesforce and MuleSoft, you can contact us here at AdVic, and we'll hook you up with one of our experts. You can just go to our website, go to the contact page. Our website is advic.com, ADVIC.com. And I will put a helpful link in the episode's notes here where you can contact us, and some other additional resources regarding AI and accurate sales forecasting and some of the other things that we talked with Phil about here today. I'm Mike Boyle from AdVic. Thank you for joining us for our latest episode of Salesforce Simplified. Our next episode is just around the corner.
You've been listening to Salesforce Simplified, the podcast from Victoriam Solutions.